Hello everyone, happy new week. I hope you're doing all right and ready to start your week in high spirit. Well, I'm happy to be here again another Monday with a juicy topic. Today, I want to talk about violence, particularly physical violence. There are five main forms of violence: the physical, the sexual, the emotional, the economical, and psychological violence. Psychological has to do a lot with threatening, abusive words, and intimidation, stuff like that. But today I want to particularly talk about physical violence. So much has been happening in the news recently, and there are three main instances that inspired me or made me want to do this video today. I'll begin in Cameroon. We all have heard because it has been so much talked about in the news in the last week. We heard how a young Cameroonian journalist died in police detention. 36-year-old Samuel Wazize. Although the government says he died of acute sepsis, that is just one instance. The second one I want to draw illustration from is the case of George Floyd. We all know police said they were trying to make him be still. I don't know what they meant because obviously he was already still when he was gasping and crying out he can't breathe. He was already still. I don't know what they were still looking for from him. And thirdly, there is also another American, a 75-year-old human rights activist by name Martin Gogino. He was peacefully protesting and the police pushed him softly. They softly pushed him and he fell and hit his head and began bleeding profusely. Those are the three incidences that made me want to talk about physical violence today. I want you to take note that these the perpetrators in these cases, the police never imagined that these people would die or it would get this serious. They were just trying to prove a point. They were just trying to teach them a little lesson. They were just trying to force them to oblige, or they just wanted them to respect or know that they are the ones in control. You know, in past years, people have always sympathized with victims of physical violence. They have talked to them, they have counseled them, they have tried to understand them, tried to help them to move on. But today, I want to talk about the perpetrators of physical violence. I want to sympathize with those groups of people today. You know, I understand you. I understand that you must have been pushed to the wall. I understand that you must have been provoked. You must have been betrayed. You must have been whatever. There are so many instances, plus the fact that you have the power, you have everything you need to suppress or to let them know or to teach them a little lesson. I understand all of those. But I want you to also understand a few things whenever you feel like abusing someone physically the next time, be it whatever form of abuse. It can be physical, emotional, economic, whatever. Although I'm precisely talking about physical today. So I've put down some points just so that whenever you want to do that, you should think about all of this before you start anything as such. First of all, I want you to realize and understand that life is so uncertain. You don't know what can happen the next minute or the next second. You may think you have everything in control. You just want to do this. You just want to let them know that after all, it's just a slap. You don't know what can happen the next minute or the next second. Things can blow out of proportion, you see. Secondly, I want you to understand that these persons can have an underlying health condition that you do not know about. They might not even know about it as well. You understand? But they were just a little mishandling and they are out. They are gone. They can snap and that could be the end of it. You understand? The third thing I want you to understand is Like I used to hear when I was growing up, they would say some people are already spiritually dead. They are just moving and waiting for the physical death. You must have also heard of the adage that it is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Yes, you don't know. You can just want to do something, and that is how it ends up, you see. And also, I want you to understand that things might get heated, things might get things might escalate, things might get to the unexpected level. Yes, somebody might want to act in self-defense. Something might just come up and something happens that you did not plan or you did not imagine or envisage, something that you are not proud of. And also, you must remember that we all have one common enemy, the devil. He is an opportunist and he's always looking for every situation to have his way. You might want to do something and the devil gets in and it turns into something that you did not plan, you did not imagine that you will reach that level. And finally, I want you to fear God whenever you think of hurting someone for whatever reason. I mean, there are instances in the Bible that God says you do not know how to make even a strand of hair on somebody's head. If you have just picture the process of bringing forth a child until the child reaches a certain level, it takes a lot of time, years, resources, and everything. That person has gone through school and all of those. Just imagine. Whenever I see violence being meted upon people who are big enough to be mothers or fathers, I just feel like I don't understand what is going on. You see, you might be right. There are times that you too can be wrong. Who is teaching you a lesson? Who is forcing you to oblige? Everybody has a right to their own opinion. Everybody has a right to freedom, to good treatment. I read some of the universal human rights, and among them, everybody has the right to good living, to not be intimidated, to be free, to do whatever they want to do. You understand? So those are some of the things that I want you to put in mind whenever you want to abuse somebody. And I've also put together some of the things that you can do if you are that type that you are easily pushed, you are easily moved to abuse or to hurt somebody. Like I said, I understand you, and that is why I want us to work this out together. These are my opinion. You can add it, you can take it, you can leave it, but these are some of the things that I think if you do it, you will be able to stay away from such a character. It is not good. It is no news that it is bad. Believe me, all of those police officers are not having it well. They are not easy. They are not fine. The whole world is asking them questions. Everybody is on their neck. And before I get into that, I want to talk about something. Like when I was growing up, I I used to know that the main or only questions that journalists used to ask was how do you feel, like after you have accomplished something great or when you have just finished doing something good or bad. It's like, now that this has happened, how do you feel? So after you have done that, after you have abused, after somebody is lying down there, after somebody is crying, how do you feel? Do you feel happy? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel fulfilled, accomplished? Do you need accolades? Do you need a medal? Are you just satisfied that you have dealt with them, you have taught them a lesson? Are you okay? Well, you might feel you are on top of your game and you're in control when it's still mild. But what if that person loses an eye, breaks a limb, or at worst, dies? How would you feel? Will you be able to deal with your conscience? Will you be able to face it? Will you be able to continue as if nothing ever happened? I want you to think of all of those. Now, these are some of the things that I think you can do whenever you feel provoked. First, you must try and learn as much as possible to have self control. You must be able to control yourself. There's one of my pastors who used to say, if you can't control something, if there's a particular thing that you can't control it, that thing will eventually control you. So you must learn to control your anger. You must learn to control your emotions. You must learn to control situations and not the other way around. Anger, emotions, situations should not control you. Secondly, you must be disciplined. Self discipline is one of the best things that I think each and everyone should work on and should have. If you have decided that you are not doing this, no matter the situation, no matter what happens, you maintain your ground and you say, I will not do it. I have said I will not do it and I will not do it. That is what is called self discipline. You let yourself do only the things that you say you want to do. I also call that integrity. Also, I want you to try as much as possible to avoid violent situations. If possible, violent people. Yes, when you see that a situation is really getting out of hand, walk out, move, change position. Yes, they might consider you as a coward, as a weakling, or whatever, but you just want to prevent yourself from reacting or doing something that is bad or something that you regret in the future. If there are people in your life, violent people that you can avoid, good and fine, but try as much as possible to avoid confrontations, to avoid situations. It's possible. Next on my list is avoid provocative words, provocative actions, provocative situations. Yes, you know that's how an argument starts. You provoke this person and the person gets as it gets provoked, it does this, and that's how it then turns into something else. It becomes violent, it becomes an argument and the rest. So try as much as possible not to be provocative yourself. It brings me to the third also, which says ignore. Learn to ignore. I know it's difficult, I know it's easier said than done, but when you learn to ignore, you will be controlling so many things in your life. There is this popular Nigerian presenter and red carpet host then relay. Recently, he has been attacked. They have been abusing him left and right. In fact, it is just so much. And it's so amazing how this boy or this man or this, I don't know how to call him, how he manages to go through all of these abuses. He even posts some on his status and say, well, when he sees things like that, instead motivating, he develops a thick skin and it keeps him going. That is how we should handle life and situations. You must learn to develop that thick skin. In this life, you must have the thick skin to be able to remain on, to be focused, to remain on the direction you are moving to. You understand? And finally, not the one but last, you must learn to submit it in the hands of God. Yes, let God fight your battles for you. I know there are instances that we have to try, we have to push, we have to struggle, we have to fight for what we want. But there are instances that you just have to let go. You just have to leave them in the hands of God and time, and it will be fine. I mean, there are times that we fight over things that they were not even meant to be. They are not worth it, or they were not even they are not worth it. You understand? So we should just leave them in the hands of God or commit them in the hands of God, and He's going to work it out. And to crown it all, to round up everything, I just want to say, as parents, as guardians, as big brothers and big sisters, we all have a duty to bring up the younger generation the right way. We have to talk to them, we have to tell them, we have to make them understand that some of these things are bad. They are not to be tolerated, or they are not tolerated. Physical, every form of abuse or violence is bad, and the way we live our lives, it has a lot to do. They are seeing it, they are learning from it, and believe me, it will have tremendous effects on their lives as they grow up. The way they respond to and the way they handle situations, the way they see us living has so much to do with that. So we should try to guide them, to make them to grow up with the right morals, to understand that there are things that are not supposed to be done. Like I said in the beginning of the video, none of those policemen imagined or thought that this would happen, that Wazize would die. They knew that he would just remain in jail like the rest of the people. Those police officers at Minneapolis never imagined that George Floyd would eventually die. They just pushed that other man softly and he fell and hit his head, and it was it was terrible. You might think that you have everything in control. You just want to teach a little lesson, or you just want to let them understand one thing, or you understand. You always those people who perpetrate violence, they always see it as something very simple, very subtle. Well, that little thing that you just want to do, don't be surprised that it can turn into something else, and you start regretting and you lose focus and your lives become something else. So I hope what I said today made a little sense, and I hope it can instill some positivity in whoever listens and in some people's life today. Thank you so much for being with me again today, and I'm going to see you again next week. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye.